Work is changing. Pandemic has shown people that work can happen anywhere.
So when I met Mayur, he was one of the first few Indians I met who has been into a kind of journey that I've been onto.
With NomadGao, I found that okay, I have ability to make something from scratch. I have ability to make things beautiful.
Yeah, hi. I'm Mayur. I am 37. I'm the CEO of NomadGao. I started NomadGao with my wife Joy.
Joy, I'm 35 and I take care of the operation part in NomadGao.
My name is Shahzada and I'm 25 years old. So I'm a co-founder at NomadGao. I take care of marketing, community, also taking care of all the operations in Goa right now.
So it's a long story that led to NomadGao. I grew up in a small town, in a joint family. I was an introvert.
So I belong from a city called Hisar in Haryana. That's where I was born and brought up. I went to Bombay for my college.
So I was always in search of like-minded people, of community, right? It was very hard for me to find that human connection. I had like 2 friends while growing up and they were my friends for 10 years and I had no other friends. I tried my hands at a couple of startup ideas in my teens. I did my first business back in 2004 and then 2009 we tried our hands at EdTech. So after these couple of startup ideas, I took the corporate path. I worked in finance.
This was 2016. I was in my second year of college and I realized that the formal education doesn't kind of make sense to me. It was not very rewarding. I wasn't learning what I wanted to learn. And at the same time, I kind of got really curious about geography, history, a lot of things around me. Basically, I was interested in knowing the planet that I was born in.
So I did not imagine myself getting a remote job or having the freedom to travel around the world. Although, travel is something I always wanted to do, but I could not imagine myself doing that until I retire or until I have enough money to do that, right? All that changed in 2014 when I got a remote job for an American startup. Suddenly I had the flexibility and career to go along with it to travel the world, right?
I became really interested in travel and I wanted to travel the world. So that came naturally to me. I decided to just drop out of my college, didn't tell my mom. So after that, I moved to Delhi. I started working with the chain of backpackers hostel. I started as an intern come volunteer at a hostel.
A friend of mine who was staying in South India, he said, why don't you come and meet me? Because you have the flexibility. And I think that was the turning point.
Yeah, it was a wonderful opportunity. And I felt that if these people can do it, I can also do it. I came from a small town, from a middle class family, but my dreams are always high and I had that confidence in me that whatever I would want to do, I'll find a way to do it.
Over the weekend, we used to go to Kerala, different places. One weekend we went to Munnar. One weekend we went to Varkala.
Things kind of changed when my mother got diagnosed with cancer. That time, I had to move back to my hometown, take care of my mother. And I saw her, dying every day. Her health was getting bad every day, each day she was getting worse. And I had seen the death of my dad when I was 15. But I also saw that culturally we've been taught to put our dreams on the back seat and work for the general survival, right? And one thing I realized that I don't want to die a regretful life, right? I want to try and do everything that I want to do.
And then I realized, okay, I could do this. Why do I have to wait for weekends to live my life, right? I have the flexibility, I have the money, I have the career to do all of these things. So why shouldn't I do that?
Post that, I got into photography, videography. I had a lot of interest in that. I started traveling India by volunteering, helping hostels, helping freelancing as a digital marketer. Through this journey, it took me to working for Google Ads. So my employer was FIS, so worked in Gurgaon for 6-7 months, and that gave me an opportunity to understand and be in a corporate for a while. But I got in with an exit plan because I knew that I would never want to, I don't want to fit into that culture.
So I took an extended 2-week stay in Varkala, worked remotely, loved it, because before that I had no idea that I could be productive while working remotely, and I said, okay, there is no stopping.
I saved money and I took a one-way flight to Colombo from there, and then I just traveled Sri Lanka, Thailand, Laos, Cambodia, Vietnam.
The same year I went to a village in Himachal for a month, ended up being there for a few months, keep going back, got married there as well.
There's a very interesting book called The Third Door. That book kind of sums up what philosophy I always had in my life. So what that book talks about is, if you want to go to, say, a nightclub, there is a main door entry where you pay, and then there's a second door where you know someone, and then you get in, and then there's always a third door, right? You can go in through the kitchen. So I always in my life have found the third door.
First it started with weekends, then it started with 2 weeks, then it became a month, then it became few months. I said, okay, let me take a Southeast Asia trip for 4 months. I went to Thailand in a place called Chiang Mai, which is considered to be the Mecca of digital nomads.
While I was doing this, I found the third door, which was volunteering. There's a wonderful website called workaway.info, and I found opportunities to work at cruise ships. I started teaching English in Vietnam. I volunteered with a hostel in Thailand, and all of this, they would give me a stay and food to eat, and I would have disposable income that I was earning to spend and have fun.
I realized that being an introvert is not about not liking people or not liking to connect with people, but it's more about not being able to connect with everyone. During travels, I met like-minded people, and I realized that like-minded community is such a powerful thing, right? In Thailand, I arranged a lot of events, and I realized, okay, I could do this. I could build communities, I could bring people together.
And when I look back, I see that because I was able to do all these odd jobs in different parts of the world, I understood how to communicate and be empathetical to different cultures.
During the same trip, I realized that India has such a great potential. There is great diversity, great culture, long history, great food. But most of these digital nomads, they did not have India on their maps. They thought internet is bad in India. Second was safety. Third was culture shock. So I said, okay, let's run retreats for people to come to India, explore India. But running retreats was, logistically cumbersome, right? Because you do 1 month retreat somewhere, and then you pack up and you do retreat somewhere else. So unless you keep on doing that at the same location few times, it doesn't make a business sense, right? So I said, okay, running retreats is not feasible. What else can I do? And around that time, one of the guys from Goa government contacted me. They wanted to make Goa popular among global digital nomads. So I said, it's perfect. I got a lot of insights on Goa. And I said, okay, this could be the place where I start my first co-working, co-living space.
That kept happening, and in 2019 I came to India and wanted to live in Goa for a while. One day I googled co-working spaces near me, and I went to NomadGao. That's how I met Joy and Mayur.
And that's when I spoke to Shahzada. We started the podcast.
I remember I was stuck in Varanasi in COVID, and Mayur called me after a month of the lockdown, and he was so excited. He's like, hey man, everyone's working from home and we can create a revolution now. Let's make them see the good side of remote work. COVID kind of made people experience that it's a struggle, it's a compromise of not going to office, right?
Then I could actually feel it in my bones that time has come where we can really push this harder, change some lives, help people have a different perspective about work and life.
You can work from anywhere, and now you don't have to choose between your hobbies, passions, your travels or work. You could do all of that together.
This wouldn't be possible, NomadGao wouldn't be possible without Joy?
I can say everything is the life-changing game because I was working in the bank for 10 years and 5 years, 6 years ago, I met Mayur for the first time. First time I know that people can work and travel at the same time, like as the lifestyle, but not like few time in the years as normal people do.
Back in 2017, I met her. Yes, I was full of ideas, but I needed someone who would say, okay, I believe in this, because I've been an outlier. I did not have a role model. I did not have someone who said, okay, whatever you're doing great. Everyone was, mostly my parents were skeptical because nobody they knew did this before. My friends were skeptical because nobody they knew did this before. When I met Joy, this is what we connected on. Joy said, okay, I believe in you. You can do this.
Luckily, suddenly we found one location, that's the first NomadGao now. And we opened NomadGao without any thought, with Mayur background and his experience.
While building NomadGao, we built it together. She decorated all the places. We were low on budget because we had to borrow from friends, buy stuff from credit card, using credit card, just to make it happen, right? So we did a lot of DIY stuff, and Joy is a DIY entrepreneur herself.
And it became very nice and our first baby, NomadGao.
If she was not there, I don't know how I would have done this.